Yes, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on the time, place, and space, wherever you are. My name is Otumba Olabode Oseni. This is Otumba Who Latest TV. Where I keep saying when I say TV, I feel a little bit say, Shemolowo TV. But then again, that is the vogue. That is what everybody calls them. Even our bloggers, they use their page as a TV page, which is fine, as long as we are not arrested for using
Impersonation.
since we are not impersonating a sky or some other big screens, Anyway,
Yes.
good evening again. I want to welcome my guest. It's a special guest, and I'll tell you why it's a special guest tonight. It's all because it's something completely different, completely different in the sense that he's launching. Let me say, his baby is launching a political. He has already launched it, registered, and already got the. You don't need the royal assent. You only need the recognition by the Electoral UK Electoral Commission, which is a very powerful body. It's an agency that is very powerful. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah. And also that reminds me that since the last 100 years, the body has never or have not entertained any form of tribunal, fighting, all that kind of what follows in other African countries after election problems. I think I don't know whether it's legislative that you cannot complain once you lose your election. That's it. No room for all that kind of thing. Am I so right in that?
Yes. I mean, if you want to challenge election results, I suppose you can go to court, but it's very rare.
Very rare.
It's very rare in this country. I mean, once the votes are counted and it's declared, that's the end of the story. You lose, you lose. You win, you win.
Yeah, which makes the electioneering and election in this country very attractive and very elegant. More so when one is an electorate looking forward to every 4 years, give or take, you want to boot out or you want to retain. That's beauty of democracy anyway. And also, to me, beauty of democracy that I also find fascinating today is the element of electorate fatigue, because the level of call election challenging the present government, the present party, to call election because they are just like they are tired of them. Maybe some other reasons why they want to put them. And this time around, I want to see the miracle that all the pundits, all the opinion poll clearly show that they're going to not only lose their majority. In fact, the who is who among them has to be very careful. I hope one of them will not lose their constant to your new party. Now, before I continue, Baasegun, you are well known among the Yoruba, also on different platform of the YSDM Yoruba self-determination movement. I've always said we are campaigners. I'm a campaigner. I don't agitate for anything, but then again, we might have different opinions about that. But before then, let me quickly put this announcement out. It will help. It will be very nice if those of you who have logged in, watching this show, to please help us like, love, and share this show to your friends and family to make sure more people hear and see what we're about to discuss tonight. I'll try as much as possible not to take too much time of my guest, but the most important thing, I'll be going through very important issues relating to what we are going to discuss. Wait, and please do us a favor and also subscribe and click on the notification button that will always bring you to my show anytime I have a show. Before I continue, Alagwa, you just put Baasegun. If you don't want to put doctor, professor, lawyer, Wale Oni, surgeon, all what we've done. But give us a short introduction.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome, wherever you are, and whatever time of the day it is. Uh, my name is Oluwasola Oni. I'm a retired orthopedic surgeon. I became involved in Yoruba self-determination movement actually after the 2010-20. I don't know if people remember the NSAS 2010-20. That is actually what brought me into campaigning for Yoruba self-determination, because it took me back to 1970, I think, when a friend of mine, because I went to University of Ibadan, I went to UI, and if we had a demonstration, and a friend of mine was shot and killed at Adekunle Adepeju, and sadly nothing came out of it. It seemed, when NSAS then occurred, when I saw it on television, that nothing much has changed in Nigeria. You just kill people with impunity. Uh, Life didn't really mean much. And that gave me the conclusion, I came to the conclusion that the problem is what I call the Nigeria disease. It's like a virus. Whatever it touches, it destroys. And in my view, the view that I formed then, that the only way out for us is to leave the Nigeria bubble. And here we are today. I have been involved in one or two organizations, self-determination organizations. But in February, I joined with others to form the Yoruba Party in the UK, the Yoruba Party. And the idea of the party really was to give the Yoruba people a voice. And I'm conscious that there are two really questions that people uh, would want answered, and we're not necessarily going to answer those two questions today. The first question is whether the Yoruba Party, being based in the UK, can help to liberate the Yoruba nation. That's one question, which is legitimate. The second question is whether the Yoruba Party can unite the Yoruba. So those are the two fundamental questions. But I mean, I don't know whether we're going to discuss any of it tonight, because it's up to you. Whatever questions I'm asked, it's not my job to tell you what questions to ask me. But basically,
one fantastic thing about you, I never prepare you. I also remember that most of the time, when I used to interview Professor Banji Akintoye, I never prepare. And I must also say that hardly I share my question with anybody, because it's supposed to be a kind of interactive. It's supposed to be a kind of a thing. Some of them might be difficult to imagine, but then again, I still have to go ahead and do what I have to do, ask questions. So thank you for that. Again, let me remind our viewers, please help us share this show. The more you share, the better, of course, so more people can see. And the nature of today's show is something to do, is very, very fundamental, that more people should listen to Baasegun, my friend, Dr. Oluwasola Oni, who was taking, I think, so let's say, taking the bull by the horn or whatever, that you've done something well. First founder, or first somebody who want to say to UK to take advantage of the level of the liberalism, the level of rights that everybody have, the Polish party, the Czechoslovakian, whatever party. And I must also quickly say, tell our viewers, obviously you are not going to win the majority. You're not going to form a government for now. But some people might start thinking, say, in another 60 or 70 years, who knows how wild this party you've launched, I mean, you've formed, it might be doing more better. Because 20 years ago, if somebody say Richard Sunak of I think India origin will be prime minister, how can you say that? So I can see that a Yoruba one day might also become the prime minister of this country. But like I said, I want you to go a little bit to tell us more. What are the goals? What are the objectives? What exactly do you want to achieve? Why don't you form this political party in Nigeria? Because I remember when we at the when we with Yoruba self-determination, you are one of the people that drafted the constitution. You worked tirelessly to see that things are done. But then again, we still not doing, I believe, we're still not doing what we're supposed to be doing in Yoruba self-determination. And then you now come up with this idea. What exactly should people be looking at? What do you want to offer them?
Okay. What happens, or what has happened so far, is that we have chosen the path of the UN and the AU self-determination rules, self-determination laws, self-determination promises. So these organizations, the UN offers us, as a people, as Yoruba people, self-determination. African Union does exactly the same thing, Article 20. The difficulty is that neither the UN nor the African Union has provided us with the means of achieving self-determination. So they've said to you, yes, you have a right to self-determination, but there's no means of achieving it. So what happens to us as those of us who are in all these various Yoruba self-determination groups is that at the end of the day, really, the UN route is a dead end. Because all we can do is lobby, look for people's goodwill, see if people can help us. That is where a political party is different, because a political party gives you a voice. That's it. You've got a voice. And if you play your cards right, the voice leads to strength or political clout. I always refer to the Jews that in this country, any politician that says anything against Israel, it's likely that his political career is ended. Say anything against Israel, your political career in this country is ended. Talk about us, Africa, nobody cares. They can say almost anything they like about us because we don't have political clout. And you get the clout by being involved in the politics of where you are. Today, already 2 people have spoken to me today about, oh, well, we've got the Labour Party, oh, well, we've got the Conservative Party. And the question that I asked them is this: what have they done for you as a Yoruba community in the UK? One of us is a minister in Sunak's government. What is it that we have been able to gain from the fact that we vote Labour or we vote Conservative? Nothing. Until you have your own, you're not going to get anywhere. Yes, we may not form the government, but you may be able to influence the government. This is what UKIP did. UKIP was a small party, and yet UKIP got this country out of Europe. Anybody who tells you anything else, don't believe a word of it. UKIP got the UK Brexit. So it's always possible for a small party, a small political party, to achieve big things. You don't have to be in government. One of the things you do is to create some fear in the big parties. Let me give you an example. If in a constituency you are able to poll a significant number of votes, it eats into the votes that either big party will get. And they begin to pay attention to you because they know that you have electoral clout, electoral strength, electoral voice. And that is really what we are trying to achieve. Okay, this election has been called so early, although I think 2 weeks ago I said on another program that I had a gut feeling that Sunak was going to go to the country in July. It was just a feeling that there was going to be an election in July, because I have a feeling that there's bad news to come. And if he didn't go now, if he didn't go to the country now, and then the bad news comes, the Tories will be in even more catastrophe than what they have now. What I want from our people is this: that don't let us be cowardly. Don't let us be afraid. Because when you're afraid, you can't achieve anything. Don't let us be afraid. The task is tough. I mean, for example, today, as soon as I heard that the election has been called, I contacted a printer straight away to say, can you print little cards with the Yoruba Party logo, with a few messages from me, so that we can distribute it in areas where there's preponderance of Yoruba people. So I can ask people, if you want some of these cards to distribute to people so they know what the Yoruba Party is for, I will send it to you. We need a voice in this country. Because, believe it or not, the Yoruba are the largest ethnic group from Africa in the UK.
That's
we
after,
are the
after India and the Pakistan, I mean.
Yes,
Okay,
we are next.
From Middle East, yeah, they're not from.
We are next, and therefore we should have much more power than we have at the minute. Everybody takes us for granted. Yes, we have mayors. Yes, we have councillors, but they're all lost in the milieu. It's like small fish in a big pond.
Mm.
But when you have your own political party, just like Plaid Cymru for the Welsh, you've got SNP for the Scots. You've got also a small party, in Scotland called the Alba Party. They have about 10,000 members, but they have 2 MPs in the House of Commons. 10,000, only 10,000 people. So you've got I think for this election, I think they've got 18 candidates lined up. They're going to field 18 candidates. And as we were talking before the program started, there are areas of London where we could field candidates, like Peckham, Little Lagos, like Greenwich, like Tower Hamlets.
Mm.
So we've got certain areas of London where we can field candidates. And it is important that Yoruba people come out to support their own.
Very important.
As I said, if we are going to liberate ourselves, we need political voice. We Yoruba, we are weak in Nigeria. I understand you are asking the question, why not form a Yoruba Party in Nigeria? Because we are politically weak. And we are weak because the Yoruba politicians want us to be weak.
Yeah, but somebody like you and I, we can make it stronger. We can say, look, that's as far as you and I are concerned, it's the wrong way. We want to choose a path.
Okay. Let me. Okay. So in order for the primary in APC, for example, you had to have 100 million naira.
That's what I'm saying. No, look, Oremi, what I'm saying, we don't want to. You and I know that we haven't got 100 million kobos, but we want to form our own party that will be amenable to our local grassroots, our people. I understand that the issue of bread and butter might be a problem for us, but I still believe that if we go to the people and say, you know what, this politics of money, you only get 2,000 naira now for the next 4 years, you're going to suffer. We want to stop it in some area, and especially in the I don't know. I don't want to be
okay. Well, let me tell you that if you are effective in the UK, you will be effective in Nigeria.
How?
Because there is nothing that happens in Nigeria's politics that does not come from here. All this pretense, when they wanted to do a presidential election, they all came here to Chatham House. There's nothing happening there that does not reverberate from here. And therefore, if you have power here, you will have power there.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it's as simple as that. The idea that we're going to be powerful in Nigeria, the Yorubas are never going to be powerful in Nigeria because we have our political elites who benefits from the Nigeria disease. I mean, look at somebody like Yaya Bello from Kogi, who was the governor of Kogi. To steal that kind of money from your people who are poor, it's sacrilege. This is the man who wanted to be president of Nigeria.
Yeah, he got
young man. Young man. So when people are saying, leave it to the youth, the Nigeria disease afflicts all of them. In fact, one of the things that I say is that there is no angel in hell. You will not find an angel in hell.
That's a nice one.
So the idea that you are going to suddenly find some kind of fantastic, as long as Nigeria exists, disaster exists. And for us as Yoruba people, we don't have to be part of it. And one of the reasons why we need our own political voice here is that there are certain things we are able to explore as a political party. For example, when Britain amalgamated Nigeria and incorporated the Yoruba land into it, Britain didn't own Yoruba land. Britain, let me repeat again, on the 1st of January 1914, the Yoruba land was not, Britain did not have jurisdiction over Yoruba land.
How come? Sorry.
On the 20th, I'm just coming to it. On the 23rd of July, 1888, Queen Victoria from here concluded a treaty with Alaafin Adeyemi as the head of Yoruba land. They signed a treaty. That treaty recognized Yoruba land as a sovereign state. And in that treaty, the Yoruba said, we are not giving up an inch of our land to anybody. And that treaty was a treaty of friendship between Britain and Yoruba land and preferential trade between Britain and Yoruba land. Now, when Britain wanted to amalgamate its territories in the area that you now call Nigeria, they set up a committee, the Shelburne Committee, the Niger Committee, that reported in 1898. That committee identified 4 areas that are now Nigeria, that over which Britain had jurisdiction. There was the Lagos colony, which was about 50 miles from the coast. That's it. An area around Lagos, about 50 miles from the coast. That's all they had in that area. They had another bit in the Delta, and then either side of River Niger in northern Yoruba land, they had a strip of land either side. The southern part of that land reached as far as Ilorin. That was all they had when they declared amalgamation in 1914. In fact, Lugard himself confirmed in his report that he did not know which bit of Yoruba land the Crown had jurisdiction over. The Chief Justice then said to him, look, no problem, amalgamate the whole lot of them and you've got jurisdiction. Now, you don't amalgamate what you don't have. You cannot amalgamate what you don't have. So when they amalgamated incorporated Yoruba land into Nigeria, it was unlawful. Now, those sort of arguments we can make as a political party. Labour Party is not going to do it for you. The Tories are not going to do it for you. And certainly the politicians in Nigeria are not going to do it for you either. They don't even understand what I'm talking about anyway.
So are you sorry to interrupt you. Are you saying that God willing that there's one or two, well, let's say start with, to be modest, I mean, one candidate of Yoruba UK party emerges to July 4, and so we can start talking, we can start behaving, we can start doing things you did. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
And genuinely makes sense to me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, because even if you didn't win a seat as a political party, it is totally different equation entirely. Because you can still make a lot of noise. The first thing is that we need people to know that we exist. And it's a difficulty because we've only been in existence for 2 months.
Okay.
So the time that we were going to spend publicizing ourselves, that is me going on programs like yours, there, and trying to publicize our case, bang, the man calls an election. So we got 6 weeks. So in the next 6 weeks, we've got to make people know that the Yoruba Party exists. We've got to make the people of this country know that the Yoruba Party exists. So we've got to find a way of getting onto the newspapers, the television studios, radio stations. We've got to find a way of doing that. One of the ways of doing it is how many candidates you have. Because remember, the Yoruba Party is like a novelty now. Well, it is a novelty.
It is.
So people are going to be curious. So if we say, well, we've got 6 candidates, I don't know how many we're going to have. All I know is that I'm contesting. I know that for a fact, that I will be on the ballot. But I don't know how many others will be brave enough to join me. Because we haven't had the time to publicize, to make everybody know about our party before the elections is called. But that shouldn't discourage us at all. That should not in any way discourage us from what we want to do.
That's what I want to say. And judging from the culture of this country, the rules, laws, and regulations, and the fundamental right that is on the ground, I don't think anybody should be afraid of wanting to join the wagon, want to be part of this movement. And
exactly.
Like Riley said, I'm convinced. I'm also, like I must say, it's because I've always argued, And you remember, you're also one of my people that appreciate that right from beginning, since I joined the campaign, I've said it is a political process. America, UK, Germany, they are not going to, they cannot wrestle Yoruba nation out of Nigeria for Yoruba campaigners. It has to be politically pushed. It has to be something like what we are doing here now. And that's why I want to believe and subscribe to the idea, because it's political. It's a political process. The only other area I want to take you on is maybe tell our viewers that the issue of this amalgamation, we've been saying it 3,000 times and all the time. But you're also a lawyer. I mean, you're a lawyer. I know that very well. What is the argument for to revert it now? On one side, it has to be political. You and I, whether because the mistake have been made that we were joined with unwanted fellows or fellas. But the thing is, we find ourselves in Nigeria now. So the only way to dismantle this thing is to do what you are doing, which is fine. What's the other alternative to what we can do?
Okay, you raised the question of amalgamation, and I'll get into it. What some of people, where I've been discussing this, people have said to me, "Oh, it happened a long time ago. A lot of water have flown passed under the bridge. It's too late." How did they take Bakassi Peninsula from Nigeria? It was based on a treaty that was signed in 1913. It was. Let me just a minute.
Sure, take your call.
Jide, I'll call you back. No, I'll call you back. Okay. That's my son. He was here with me earlier today, and he's gone back to Manchester. Just telling me that he's arrived safely, which is fine. Now, the Bakassi Peninsula was taken from Nigeria and given to Cameroon on the basis of a treaty that was signed in 1913.
Yeah, that's correct.
The treaty between Queen Victoria and Alaafin Adeyemi that was signed in 23rd of July 1888 was ratified by the Queen, was ratified on the 16th of June 1890. That treaty is life. That treaty is life. And we have the right to demand that we go back to that treaty.
So we can still challenge those, okay.
So, and one of the advantages, one of the things that we will do, if we get an MP or two, is to sponsor a private member's bill which says restoration of Yoruba nation sovereignty. The Restoration of Yoruba Sovereignty Act. We'll sponsor that. And it will be on the basis of what I've said, that there was a treaty in 1888. That treaty is life. The creation of Nigeria was made by law. It wasn't natural. It was made by British law. And it is therefore in the power of the Parliament of Britain to de-amalgamate. Because it's unlawful. And you can do that. Eventually, this might go to court. So as a political party, that's another thing. The strength that we have as a political party is that we can even take the matter to court as a political party and say, this is a question of law. Nigeria was created by British law. Nigeria didn't appear from the moon or whatever. Nigeria started life as British law. And therefore, the creation of Nigeria is subject to the jurisdiction of the courts of Britain. And part of the things you can do as a political party, we could ask for the House of Lords to set up, one of these committees. I forget what they call it now. Select committee, that's what they call it. Select committee of the House of Lords. Because when you're a political party, you can say, look, this is a problem. We want to know whether Nigeria was lawfully incorporated into Yoruba land was lawfully incorporated into Nigeria. House of Lords, give us a select committee. You see, there is nothing that is happening in Nigeria that they don't know here.
Oh, of course,
All the killing, all the rigging of elections, all the this, all the that, they know it here. But they are not going to do anything unless we put political pressure. They are not going to do anything.
If the press here can comment on the kind of dinner and supper and lunch that Meghan and her husband had, the kind of clothes they can comment on their visit. So they, of course, they have 24 hours surveillance on what we are doing. You know that about that. Now, my friend,
it's actually more than that. I mean, there are. I don't want to mention any politician because I think that would be unfair on this program. There are a number of visits to Nigeria by various UK politicians that have written reports on the killing, the Fulani killings. And instead of being, as usual, so minimal, they say, oh, well, we advise the government to do X, Y, and Z. If the same thing happened, when the same thing was happened in Yugoslavia, what happened? They went to the UN, they got the UN, they went to Yugoslavia to get rid of the Serbs. So when it happens in Europe, they don't accept it. But in Africa, anything goes. Rwanda, they're slaughtering. Imagine the UK is sending Africans who are asylum seekers to Rwanda. Rwanda was never even British colony. These dumb politicians here, they are sending people to Rwanda at a cost of £2 million each. They're spending £2 million on each refugee that they take to Rwanda. To do what? What exactly are they going to do in Rwanda?
Well, my friend, the stupidity, the culture of stupidity in governance in the different climate may not be the same. It's just something similar to when you look at the Nigerian government spending 9 billion, is it 9 billion or 90 billion spending on a Hajj? When these people have not eaten the last 2 weeks or whatever, but wanted to sponsor them. So I do understand. May not be exactly the same. But
but what is terrible about what they are doing in Rwanda is this. It is what you call internment. Internment. And that is what you did during the Second World War. When you had prisoners of war, you take them to Guantanamo Bay. That's what they are doing. They are doing the equivalent of Guantanamo Bay by sending people to Rwanda that Britain had no relationship with Rwanda at all. They are now taking Africans who came here. So this is why you need your own political party to remind people of the history of actually the way we are. So they come to our place, they wreck the place. People then say, well, I mean, this wreckage, I can't take it anymore. They come here, and then people are saying, you can't come here. If you didn't wreck people's homes, they wouldn't come here. This is what I call the asylum equation. The asylum equation is this. There is fleeing from and there is fleeing to. If you don't have fleeing from, you will not get fleeing to.
Exactly. That's
These
correct.
people are obsessed with fleeing to. All they talk about is fleeing to. There is no thinking about fleeing from. Why are people fleeing from their country? Why are they going through the Sahara Desert and dying on the way, or getting to North Africa where they are going to be sold as slaves, or then crossing the Mediterranean where the boats sink and they die? So instead, that is what a political party like ours will be telling them, that the equation fleeing to, fleeing from, you need to deal with fleeing from.
Now, quick one.
If Nigeria wasn't a mess, many of us won't be here.
Definitely, no doubt about that. No doubt about it. My friend, again, we're talking of Yoruba. We have not we've not been talking and say this Nigerian thing is a Yoruba thing. Don't you think we may be having in the process of when we go on the campaign trail, should we be speaking Yoruba to our target audience, or should we continue to speak English with them? Even though when we get to if eventually we get one or two MP, it will have to be. But in terms of the people that are going to vote for us, what do you choose? Because the good thing about this also, you'll be surprised that thousands of the English people might even vote for us, because what they are counting is vote, not the people that vote. As long as it's a legit, I mean, it's illegal, whatever. So we might, okay.
No. It depends on your message.
Okay.
It depends on your message. I mean, one of the things that, I mean, I have hurriedly had to prepare a draft manifesto, which is out there already. The manifesto is to make people realize that we are not talking about our own advantage alone. We are not talking about ourselves alone. We are saying that if the fleeing from is dealt with, it is to the advantage of Britain.
That's
from
true.
From 2 points. Number one, you create a market. If Yoruba land is free, that is a huge market for Britain. And we are going to explain how that market is going to be created. I happen to be somebody who believes in the marine economy, because the Yoruba coast is about 500 kilometers long, which is one of the longest coasts in Africa. And the sea is deep, one of the deepest seas in Africa. That's why the slave ships could come to the coast of Yoruba land, because the sea is deep. And it is ideal for marine economy. Absolutely ideal. So instead of spending 2 million per refugee to go to Rwanda, if you spend that kind of money to develop the marine economy of Yoruba land, you will create a market for Britain. So Rwanda is not going to create any market. It's just a waste of money. You could spend that money in the coast of Yoruba land, developing the marine economy of Yoruba land, which will create a different market, an additional market for the country. The second benefit of it is that, of course, immigration will be less. If you are developing a marine economy, which is going to be a huge thing, new towns, there's going to be a generation of energy from the sea, and so on and so forth. It will require Nigerian Yoruba youths to be in Yoruba land, because there'll be work for them to do. They don't have to go anywhere else.
So it's a win-win for UK, isn't it?
Yes. Yes. And that is the message we can bring to the electorates in the UK. That we as Yoruba Party, we see what all these other politicians cannot see.
Okay. Now, my friend, let me remind our viewers, tonight's show I'm with Baasegun Dr. Shola Oni. He's an old friend and is also a staunch member of the Yoruba Actualization campaign group. And then he has come with this idea, which we both believe that it's a political thing, that he has formed registered Yoruba Party in the UK. And so far, so good. All we need to do now is that we need all the support we can get to make this happen. And with one or two MPs, it's just going to be beneficial to Yoruba people. Let me put it that way. In fact, not so. Let's start talking about the people. Yoruba is going to be beneficial to Yoruba people because it is then we'll be able to make points. We're going to at least educate, get our former colonial master to understand that certain mistake they made. The best way to go about it is what we are discussing here tonight. Please do me a favor, help like this show, love it, share it, and where possible, subscribe. And also, please click on the notification button. Now, anytime from now, I'm going to allow people to call in. If you want to call to contribute, please do so. And also, if you want to make a comment, go to the comment section and leave your comment there. I find this show to be very, very interesting because it's completely new thing. And I have no doubt in my mind that the benefit is massive for the Yoruba people. Now, let's talk about one or two areas of this party. To find a candidate might not be a problem, but I can imagine that lots of potential Yoruba people on the ground that want to take advantage of this party. Financing. I know all parties need to be financed. What are you doing about financing of this party?
Well, so far my pension is what I'm spending on. My pension is going to this party, but we've put it out there to ask people to donate, and we have a PayPal account. Because unfortunately in this country, it's very difficult to open an account for a political party. It's a very long drawn. I've been to 2 banks today already. I was at the Cooperative Bank this morning and I was at Virgin this morning. Discussing with them the possibility of, because I tried online, I couldn't do, they wouldn't let me. So I had to go to these banks to ask. And that's apart from the online banks, like Metro and all these banks, that when they advertise, you think easy peasy, all you have to do is just get online, fill a few forms, and voila, that's it. No.
But you can't blame them. They also need to comply with the existing laws, rules, and regulations, especially in the financial world. They also
I'm not blaming them at all. I'm just explaining the difficulty and why we have had to rely on PayPal, because every penny that is sent to us from PayPal takes 5%, I think.
No, of course, yeah. And that's also one of the things I believe we can do on this show and the subsequent one. There are people out there that watching this program, via YouTube, not directly live through the studio. Please, if you have idea of how to go, because here we are again, my good friend, the Yoruba, we have such a fantastic set of human beings. They are just too good in all aspects of life. They are well nuanced in whatever you want to talk about. So those of you who are watching this program, please, if you have idea about how to go about some other part of these political parties, and the good thing is we have Nigerians who, well, they want to say British Nigerians that are already member of the MP. We have brilliant ones in the Conservative. We don't want to start mentioning names. We also have nice, highly placed and recognized one in Labour and some other political parties. So please, and well, I don't know. I know of about 3 or 4 Yoruba now that apart from the one that was booted out, the lady. So please, it's an opportunity to please join hands with Yoruba Party in the UK. Tell us what you can do. You can contact, you can phone in. You can also, I'm going to get the contact details from the founder, the leader, the chairman of this political party. So maybe we can take it from there. Yeah, you wanted to say something?
Well, yes, I mean you can donate at paypal.me/Yoruba Party. That's one way of donating to us. We are in the middle of producing a website because all these things are happening so quickly. So you can donate to our PayPal account right now. It's paypal.me/Yoruba Party. You can also contact us by email. It's info at yorubapartyuk.org. So you can contact us if there's anything. I mean, already, I mean, this email has just been set up. Already, I've had to answer so many people today, and I'm happy to do it. We're happy to respond to your emails because this is new to us. It is new to you as well, and we feed off you the same as you feed off us. So you can donate to us via PayPal. And that will get things going. I mean, for example, today I've been to the printers to order 10,000 cards, which is a lot of money. And already I am writing a poster or a leaflet that I'm going to take to the same printers again. The fortunate thing for us is this. If you are standing election and you pay a deposit of £500, all your campaign leaflets is posted free of charge. The post office posts it for you free of charge. So all you have to do is to produce the leaflets. And that's expensive. Because, for example, the average constituency is about 70,000 people, voters. That's a lot of posters. We need people who are on Twitter, on Facebook, on whatever, to campaign for us. Believe it or not, the only way we are going to get in touch with those Yoruba descendants who are born here is via all these things, via Twitter, because that's where they are. Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Meta, or whatever. That's what they are on. So that people who want to help us, you can spread the word. If you need any literature, if you need any poster, just let me know. Let us know via our email site, and we'll send it to you. We've already released 3 documents now. We've released a draft manifesto. We released a document on why the Yoruba Party, and we also released one on how to become a member, the membership form. We already have a WhatsApp platform, which is just simply Yoruba Party UK. So we've got a WhatsApp platform where people can join. People can join our platform, and you can contribute ideas. You can offer to help, because we are in this together. Let me tell you something. Failure is not an option.
I agree.
This is not, the party is already formed. If we don't make this succeed, it will reflect badly on the Yoruba people. So don't let's mess about and people start oohing and eyeing. Failure is not an option. We cannot afford to fail. This is our opportunity to make name in history. This is our opportunity to change the course of history. So the idea of failure does not even come to my mind at all, because failure is not an option. We cannot afford to fail. So people out there who are oohing and eyeing, you haven't got a better alternative than this. You haven't got anything better than what Yoruba Party is offering you. There's nothing better.
My friend, can you somebody say, can you type in the comment box the details of the PayPal? Just go to the comment box and type it there so they can see it.
Oh, you mean where it says chat?
Yes, and then
Oh dear. I can't.
There's a comment box.
Join the chat. Connect to comments.
Yeah, you can comment, and then instead of comment, just put the details there so everybody can see. Viewers, while we are waiting, please, if you want to call, the number is plus.
I think I've made a mess of this, to be honest.
No. You don't worry. There's nothing to worry about. Go back and well, there's a temporary disconnection. My guest will be back in a GB. Please, if you want to comment, if you want to add to all what you had so far, so good. And if you also want to make a donation, please go ahead and do it. I think it's this idea is fantastic. Other nationals do it, and also in the House of Commons, there are many political parties. You don't hear of them because they don't, but at least a lot of things they are doing for their for their people. You're back.
Yes, I've tried to type something and I couldn't do it.
Okay, you know what? What I'll do is, Mr. Sambayo, one of the staunch YSM member. Is there any way you can help type the details, or I can also do it from here? Let me see. Please send your donation to. I think I will have a caller from the. Hello, good evening, Mr.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir. How are you, Mr. Oyebayo? How are you? You want to make a contribution? Oyebayo. You want to make a contribution, or you want to make a donation? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you hear me? We can
hear you.
Okay. I must commend your effort, Dr. Your rugged, never give up effort for Yoruba younger generation. I must commend your effort. This is a brilliant idea. And like they say, there are so many of them.
Yes. Boy. Hello. What's happened? Hello? Hello?
So I want to believe that this needs a lot of document. People need to know about it. A lot of maybe town hall meetings online, speak to as many people as possible, jingles. It's jingles that could be forwarded. Baba Ella say jingles, well done one, but not that long, but good quality jingle that we can forward to on WhatsApp, and the Twitter idea is very good. Yes, a lot of young people are on Twitter. Yes, it's good, it does well, but every little thing that needs to be done, I think should be done. I'm totally in support of your relentless energy to get Yoruba out of shenanigans that we find ourselves. This is a great approach. Yoruba Party in the UK. Yes, we can then use it to popularize this to the British people. Because the British people will have, I know when we've been out there, when we talk to the British people, they really have our support. So I think it's a good idea then to the government as well. Then in addition to what other people are doing, we will all add up. And hopefully we will get sovereign nation ASAP.
Thank you very much,
Thank you,
Mr. Oyabayo. I appreciate your contribution. Please, there's more room for people who wants to. We are making efforts to type the PayPal thing on the comment section. Which come to show, yeah, we're making efforts to do. But please share this show, call friends and family. I'll be having Dr. Oni more frequently. We'll be doing a lot of campaign on the show. We'll be inviting more people to come and talk about this. Hopefully, when we start getting candidates, we'll be able to talk to people. But please, your contribution, those of you who are watching this program, is key. It's also very, very important. You need to please do. I have already had someone who wants to join. He has one time was a Labour candidate in the Woolwich area. So he's willing to go back there to campaign. So I'll be forwarding the details to Dr. Oni. He knows the area very well. He was a candidate before. So he's willing to do it. And like I said, Tiwantiwa, yes, Tiwantiwa, we need to be, and part of the problem we have is maybe we just take everything for granted. Please, this is very crucial. This is very, very important. And don't forget, there are many laws that we can fight on our platform. Also, we can also fight certain things that does not make us happy as a Yoruba people, because most of us have been here for 20, 30, 40 years. Look at these cases of somebody who has been here for 42 years, but then deported. Who spoke for him? Nobody. It was just on the face of. So what Baasegun is saying, what Dr. Oni is saying, is is going to be a fantastic platform. And we are going to use one stone to kill two birds. Because in the process of our appearance, our being member of House of Commons here, we can also be using that to make moves to sort out the issue of Yoruba nation and so on. Please join us. Now. You also have said in some of your outings, my friend, that you're willing to challenge the 1913-1914 amalgamation treaty. How do you want to do that?
Well, there are two ways we can. There are two ways we can approach this. We can approach it as a looking for a political solution. Remember what I said earlier? The amalgamation was law. Nigeria was created by law, by British law, and therefore the parliament can rescind that amalgamation. So that's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is the courts. And the reason, I mean, I've been touting this for quite some time now. And the reason why it hasn't gone up there, I've actually produced the briefs and so on and so forth. The reason why it hasn't gone beyond that is because of money. Because this is good to have a judicial review, for example, which will be one way of going this way. It's very expensive. And the other way, of course, is to use tort law. For example, to say that the Treaty of 1888 is also a contract and it has been breached. And it is a contract because I don't know how to explain this, but there's something called consideration. When you have a contract to buy something or to sell something, there has to be quid pro quo, a consideration. And interestingly, in the 1888 treaty was consideration that the Alaafin of Oyo will be paid a stipend every year. So in fact, the Alaafin, the descendants of the Alaafin can actually sue the British government and ask for back pay. Because part of the treaty was that the Alaafin was going to be paid a stipend for adhering to the treaty. And of course, what happened was that the Alaafin was assassinated in November 1895, I think. That Captain Benton, from who was I don't know, something in Ibadan, went to Oyo and killed the Alaafin for no good reason. So there are a lot of murky things, very murky things in the story of Nigeria that we will be able to unearth as a political party. Once we unearth it, we then present it either for Parliament to deal with or for the courts to deal with. But one way or the other, we are going to solve this problem. The Yoruba Party, one way or the other, we are determined to solve the problem of the amalgamation of now, or not the amalgamation, but the incorporation of Yoruba land into the amalgamation. Oh, and one thing that I forgot to mention was this, that in Lugard's report to Parliament, he said that he didn't do anything. He did not remove the treaties. He didn't void the treaties because the treaties didn't mention independence. So in fact, when we say the Treaty of 1914 is alive, it is also alive because they knew the treaty was there and they decided they weren't going to do anything about it anyway. So the Treaty of 1888 is still alive today. And we have to ensure that it is enforced.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Oni. There are also one or two things I still want to find out from you. You said you have in mind that we can use one stone to kill two birds. That is by with this, we are going ahead with this Yoruba Party in the UK, and we use the platform and House of Commons to ginger, to regig our efforts to reconnect, even where possible, to get them to pay the reparation of since 80 something, which is not a big deal. I mean, it might look like to some people that will be billions of people. No, it doesn't work like that. Once the court says rules that it's the amount of money that's being owed, they will have to pay it. Some of them are not there, you know. But so really, this is such a wonderful arrangement. So all what we need to do now is to continue to campaign to our people to please come out, support this idea. This is a noble objective. This this is a fantastic arrangement. And you know why I'm putting all my efforts behind it is because I believe as a student of political science that to disconnect or to create or to cut or to say there's going to be another nation from the country called Nigeria, it is a political process. And for those of us who are insisting that it's a political process, it's because we have the fundamental human right to speak out, to negotiate that the certain things we want. Tell us more about this political process. Apart from here, how are you going to be using this tool to ginger or to accelerate the movement in Nigeria?
Okay. Before I go that way, I think I need to make some comments about self-determination movements or groups. It has become almost an obsession that all these groups have to come together to form one big group. And this is not this has been going on for a long time. For example, in 2000, there was a coalition of Oodua self-determination groups, COSEG. And then recently, of course, is the YSDM. So in fact, there have been attempts to form coalitions. Unfortunately, what the obsession has done is that it has concealed the achievement of the diversity. I remember talking to, I think, the Yoruba Central Office. I think I gave them a talk on unity quite some time ago, in which I was trying to explain this. That what diversity does is this, is that you have different voices, and in the case of Yoruba self-determination, these different voices are saying the same thing. They are saying we want self-determination for Yoruba land. What that does in terms of psychology is this, that it means or it shows that the generality of the Yoruba people want self-determination. I know people say, oh, you need a referendum. You don't. And you don't because you've got this diversity of voices. All these voices. But they're saying exactly the same thing. They're not saying things differently. The self-determination groups are saying exactly the same thing. So the diversity it gives a consistent message. It is that message that is the unity, which was the point I was trying to make, I think, a couple of years ago when I was talking to the Yoruba Central Office.
Yes,
it is that diversity of voices, but they are saying exactly the same thing. You don't need a monolithic body, a big body, a coalition. Because all that does is that it then nullifies all these noises that you are hearing everywhere. Because there are so many of them, but they are saying exactly the same thing. They're not saying anything different. They're all saying we want self-determination for the Yoruba nation. And what that does is that it makes the message authentic. Because if you are hearing it from different groups, disparate groups not related to each other, it makes your message authentic. It also makes it appear to be workable. Because if all these groups are saying it, when self-determination comes, they're not going to fight it. Because that's the message they've been passing all over the place. So for me, I've never seen anything wrong in the diversity because, as I said, it is just one consistent message. I've never seen anything wrong in the diversity because. So I'm repeating myself. So for me, the diversity of messengers, to me is a lot better than a single body. Now, because what the groups are doing is really lobbying. It's goodwill. They're looking for goodwill. They're lobbying. Their role is different from the role of a political party. What all that voices, all that little voices, what it requires is a means. It's a means of achieving all what those voices are saying. And a political party is the best means of doing it.
That's true.
Because at the end of the day, the political party doesn't actually belong to any of those groups. It belongs to all of them.
That's right.
So all the diverse voices now come together. They are now channeled through a political party, which is the means to an end. So you've been talking about the end. This is what we want. This is what we want. Everybody is saying it. What you are now doing is you are saying we now have a political party as the means to achieve all the message we've been given. So for me, as far as I'm concerned, the party is not a competitor to the self-determination movement. There's no competition. Some people think it's there's no the party was not formed to replace or terminate self-determination groups. The party was not formed to compete with self-determination groups. What the party is there for is to provide direct access to the world of politics. So rather than lobbying everybody, looking for goodwill here and there, you've now got a political voice that says, this is what we want. This is what we are prepared to pay for it. So we want our own Yoruba nation. And we are saying, by having the Yoruba nation, you've got yourself new external markets, new overseas markets that you don't have now, that you'll never have if Yoruba land is in Nigeria. We are also saying that when we have our independence, our people will not come here anymore. Although we are not going to solve all the immigration problem of the UK, what we are doing is that our bit of that problem is taken care of. And when we are talking about the marine economy that I keep talking about, there will be other people from West Africa that will come to look for work in that marine economy. They too then will not, their people will not now be traveling to Europe. So everybody wins.
Everybody wins. It's a win-win thing.
Yes.
And for those who maybe just joined us or watching this program, after we finish, you can still click on the invite. You're still going to see the full length of the show, and that's not a problem. You can still. What is important is this campaign that I mean, the UK has now through the what's it called? They throwing the ball to the court and say, well, look, we're going to have the general election, elect another members of parliament, and also elect a new prime minister. And the process here is, well, maybe it's not too cumbersome as some people would probably want to think. Very straightforward. Each political people vote for parties, and parties now have their members, in fact, depending on the size, any which way all the parties will have their leaders. And again, like I said, there are many other small parties in the house. So don't say Yoruba Nation. I'm sorry, Yoruba political party in the UK. It's going to be there are many that made the House of Commons. Some of it SNP, Wales. There are little political parties there. There are many of them that maybe maximum maybe they have two, they have one. So for you who are listening to us, let us make it happen. Let us make it happen. And like Dr. Oni said, we have a large number of Yoruba people in this country, and this is a fantastic step in the right direction. It's a win-win-win situation for all of us. Like I said, if we also want to fight certain things that we're not happy about, we need to have a voice. So this is all about voice. This political party is going to be your voice, our voice. And there are a lot of things we can achieve by so doing. For those who believe in separation of whatever from, that's fine. It's abuaba, it's skadankada, small. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. It takes some time to achieve it. And part of the tools this political party is using is to accelerate whatever wishes we may have, our aspiration as well. Now, my friend, because of time, I have chosen to choose a little time to pass the message on to people to get to know the party. And I'm making a promise we'll be coming every other often, just like maybe the remaining part of the month. I'm extremely busy, family and some other private engagement. But if I can, I'll bring Dr. Oni as many times as possible to come and talk to everybody. I can do that tomorrow if the time permits. I can do it as many times as possible because I have no doubt in my mind that this is a fantastic opportunity for us. And this message now to our youth: I respect you, I adore you, I love you, and I know how much you love the Yoruba origin. This is not discrimination. This is not campaign of anything. No, I know how much you care about your roots. So all what we want you to do is join us. Join this Yoruba Party in the UK and bring your ideas. And for those who want to support, I am thinking, let me try if I can type this thing, or send me a test. Send me a test of the details of that paper. So, and then I will put it on the screen here. So if you send me, yeah. So while we are still waiting for Dr. Oni, please feel free to phone in, phone in and contribute. While I'm waiting for your call, I want to read out some of the informations we received tonight. And luckily, it's been the Alagba Sam Oya Bayo. I know him very well. He's one of the self-determination activists. He's a key member. He started by saying, greeting to Dr. Oni and Baba Otuma. Thank you very much for that. And he also, the same person, I think Yoruba people in the UK should support this UK Yoruba Party. Every little helps. Wow, that's good for you. It will add to our propagation. Fantastic. That's exactly what it is. He also said, please avoid the phrase colonial master. They are rather colonial monster of our business. Well, again, they have chosen most of the words we are using today for us. And yes, I'm going to pick that up in a minute, my friend. So, and also, he also said display, please. Yes, we're going to do that in a minute. How will Dr. Oni marry the UK party with his idea that our Oba can lead Yoruba people into sovereignty? I'm going to ask you that question. That's fantastic, Alagwasam. This is a common question. Don't you think it is against natural rights to say there is no need for referendum? Again, if you listen better, again, those two questions. We still have some minutes left to play with. My friend, someone talking about the Oba, the role of the Oba. Well, in the UK, forget them. We don't have any Oba here. But let me let my guest walk us through that Oba thing. When are the Oba going to come I'm sure they're not going to travel to Peckham. I want to say.
let me start by saying I'm a Yoruba nationalist.
Okay.
I'm a Yoruba traditionalist, which means, and I'm a Yoruba monarchist. I believe in the monarchy. I believe in our tradition, and I'm a Yoruba nationalist. For me, and I did a program about this a while ago, the Yoruba Oba today could declare a Yoruba nation, and the Yoruba nation will be a reality. Nobody can stop them except themselves, because the Obas have the traditional authority in Yoruba land to declare that Yoruba land shall be free. What I call the Declaration of Emancipation of Yoruba land. But they are not going to do it for whatever reason. But I think that we should avoid, I'm trying to find the word for it, abusing them, or, I mean, like when Obasanjo was rude to our Oba, I tweeted about that, I mean, that's just not acceptable, because the Oba today is a transient passenger. The throne is not going away. It is the office holder that goes. The office remains. And we must never, ever forget that. What the Yoruba Party does, although it's in the UK, is that if we are strong here, we will provide leadership in Nigeria. We will provide leadership for the Yoruba people in Nigeria if we are strong here. Because as I said earlier, there is nothing that happens in Nigeria's politics that is not coming from here. Although people might say this, that, and the fact of the matter is that whatever is happening there is here. And therefore, if we have influence here, if we have a political voice here, automatically it translates or transfers to Nigeria. So that's where the Obas come in. And I reminded the Obas, actually, when I did this program a while ago, that in 1933, I think, 31 or 33, the Yoruba Oba, they formed a committee of Oba that met every year with the governor, the British, the colonial government met with these people. And they were rotating their meetings. They had it in Oyo, they had it in Benin. I mean, now some Benin people say they are not Yoruba, but anyway, in those days, in the 30s, they had the meetings everywhere, where they met with the colonial governor, and they exchanged ideas. What the Obas wanted was developed. They wanted more education. Everybody thinks that Awolowo was the only one about education, but the Yoruba Oba had already started that in the 30s, saying to the colonial government, we want more of our children to be educated. We want more development in our land. My suggestion was that committee of Oba should be revived. And when you revive it, they can then say, we declare Yoruba nation. Nobody is going to stop them. Do you think that the army will then do what? They will go to every palace in Yoruba land to do what? They will take all the Obas and put them in prison, or they will shoot them, or they will put them all under house arrest. If they declared Yoruba nation today, Yoruba land will be free. The second point that was made is this question of referendum.
Yes.
And I dealt with it earlier. when I said, because you have this diversity of voices, there's so many organizations, small, big, medium, large, saying exactly the same thing, that we want Yoruba self-determination. You don't need every Yoruba man to say that at all. You don't need every Yoruba man to. The referendum, the idea of referendum is a Western idea. Catalan. This idea that, oh, referendum, people shout referendum, referendum. Okay. Catalan. What happened? They had a referendum. They said they wanted to leave Spain. They arrested their leaders. They had a referendum and they won a referendum saying that the Catalonians want to leave Spain.
They had about 90-something%.
Yes. Sahrawi Republic. They had a referendum. Nearly 100% of them said they don't want to have anything to do with Morocco. Today, even the African Union, the Sahrawi Republic, is a member of the AU. Because of that, Morocco is not a member of the AU. And Morocco is still sticking, is still saying that they are not going to go. Because France at the Security Council blocks the Republic of Sahrawi from leaving. Sudan, they had a referendum. Southern Sudan, they had a referendum. They had to have a civil war before they could leave Sudan.
That's true.
Somalia, Somaliland, referendum. What happened? Somaliland says Somalia can't leave. And then, of course, the Western nations say, oh, no, you can't. When the two parts of Somalia or Somaliland are totally different. One part used to be ruled by Italy. Another part was colony of Britain. So the idea that the referendum is going to do anything is a waste of time. And in a country where they rig everything anyway, how do you know they're not going to rig the referendum?
That's another thing. I need to quickly interrupt you there. Let me add to that. And I agree with you, all the three examples of those countries that have chosen referendum as a vehicle, they punctured their tires. They were unable to move. Catalan is one of the most, the best example of them all. They had about 99 point something percent. As we speak, their leader is still on the run. Spain insisted that they're not going nowhere. Yeah, and the case of the what's it called, the Italian colonized country, is that Somalia or whatever?
Yeah, Somalia, yeah, Somalia.
Yeah, and also the South Sudan thing. So really, I want to appeal to everybody listening and watching this program. And this is really, we now have opportunity to move forward. Not only what is going to, but also for the interest of those of us who have chosen to settle down here, because 500 years ago or whatever years ago, this country has also chosen to do many things they want to do in Africa. And we're not fighting. This is not about war. I'm just using this opportunity to say to our people, please, let us rally around this political party. We should be looking at the bigger picture. There's a lot in it for the Yoruba people in this country. And again, like another thing, the way things are, if those other nationalities want to choose to form their own, they are welcome. But look, we are who we are. I just want to say, look at the bigger picture. Look at tomorrow, what this political party can offer, what is going to offer, and what we are going to get. Now, final word, my friend, because of time. What before and let me make a promise for those of you who are watching. We're coming back to very soon, maybe another 2 or 3 days. Once I'm less busy, we'll be coming to do regular campaign here. This is going to be the platform to campaign for the Yoruba Party in the UK. I've no doubt in my mind that we're going to succeed. Yeah. Final word. What should we be looking at?
Okay. Basically, it is in the self-interest of the Yoruba self-determination groups to make sure that the Yoruba Party succeeds. It's in their interest. And what they need to do is they need to publicize the Yoruba Party. They need to encourage their members to join the party. Because as I said earlier, failure is not an option. Because if we fail, it will reflect badly on the Yoruba people. We are high achievers. The Yorubas are high achievers.
In all aspects of life.
Exactly. And to then fail, this is not an option. This is not an option. In fact, I will prefer that people kick me on the backside every day to get things moving. Failure is not an option. We have to make this succeed. That's really all I have to say.
Thank you very much for.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate you. And again and again, the PayPal details is showing in white in front of everybody. HTTP double colon and double slash paypal.me/Yoruba Party. Is that right?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Please donate generously. Yeah, I'm not going to start saying maybe where possible the donation made to some other area, you can divert it here. And here is a country where accountability, transparency, they are very key in anything. Your money is safe.
Okay. Let me just tell you about the Electoral Commission.
Yeah.
This party is only 2 months old. Already, I have had to account for donations, for everything. We haven't even received a single penny. The first quarter, although we were only just formed, I still had to submit report, even though we hadn't done anything at all.
So this message is to show potential or prospective that nothing. This is here is too open.
The election in this country, it took me months to negotiate to register the party itself. It wasn't a matter of, you just fill a form. It took me months, backwards and forwards, particularly because the ethnic name was on it. So we had to be good. So so whatever you donate, it cannot be stolen by anybody at all, because it has to be accounted for to the Electoral Commission. And even, let me warn those who want to be candidates. It is the same thing. If you're a candidate, if somebody gives you a kobo, please make sure you record it, because we have to tell the Electoral Commission what has been donated to you. So it isn't just the party alone, but actually also for the candidates, that if somebody gives you a kobo, you have to account for it.
So this is not a local government election, Abi?
No. This in fact, the amount of paperwork is enough to discourage anybody. But that has to be done.
Of course, yeah.
It's got to be done.
All right, we have exceeded time. Again, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
And your efforts will never be in vain. The Almighty, the Babaloke will make sure that we succeed. I share with the party. And also, and for those of you who are in Yoruba Nation self-determination. Join us full-heartedly. It's part of the journey. It's also part of the tools we need to achieve what we need to achieve. Thank you very much. It's
Thank
my
you.
pleasure. I look forward to having you again. And like I said, on this platform, we can use it as many times as possible for our
Thank you.
campaign. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you very much, viewers. So this is the end of the show, and
Okay.
I look forward to having you again. Please
Okay.
remember,
Thank you very much.
you're welcome. Please
Odaro.
remember to share, subscribe, love, and please, most importantly, click the notification button. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.